Imagine yourself at the age of 16 lying down helpless as your innocence is snatched from you by your best friend's brother and his 3 friends. Conjure up the feeling in your heart when you find out all this was actually organized by your best friend because she is envious of you. Picture yourself going through this emotional turmoil alone for years without seeking justice because you are being threatened. This is a tale of Pauline Juma, a mother of 2 who considers herself a candle of Kibera, one of the largest slums in the world. Watching her write her poems, you can never guess what she has overcome. Truly, there is no strong person with an easy past.
My name is Pauline Juma, born and raised in Kibera. I am 24 years old, the firstborn of a family of 4 children. I have 1 brother and 3 sisters, and yeah, we were raised with both parents. My father, who was a trailer driver, and who is still a trailer driver, and my mother, who has been for a while she was a housewife. For a while she has worked in people's house, and I can say we have been raised in just a small, humble family where we were taught how to respect each other. In our house there was no man or woman. We were just equal in the house, and each and every person was given an opportunity to speak out. We were all given an opportunity to go to school. We were all given an opportunity to share the house chores in the house, and being brought up as a firstborn, I was taught responsibilities from the moment I was very young. At the age of 5, I was already taught how to be responsible. At some point we struggled just getting the 3 meals per day. It was like a blessing to us. Sometimes we could have gone the whole day without eating, the whole night. But one thing my mother always taught us, don't ever lose hope. I remember just telling my mother one day, "Mom, I want to take you where you work." And that is the last time I ever stepped with my mother to any place she was working. Until now, I think there are moments I remember what I saw on that day. I was just after class 8, and I told my mom, "Today let's go, I just take you." But what I saw from that day, I think it's what motivates me to this moment, because it was a 3-bedroom house in Buruburu. And a bedroom house, I don't know if it's every house, but that house had stairs. So the sitting room were down and the kitchen and the bedroom was up, and it was a 3-bedroom, so that is like 3 staircases. And I just remember my mom was there, and I don't know what to say it, but she was like a slave. She knelt down, and that woman just kicked, alikuwa anapiga nguo teke kutoka juu. And my mother was there picking the clothes. She was there just collecting the clothes with this humility, and she just did it as if nothing happened. It's like she didn't go through anything. And I was very young, and I was asking myself, "Mom, do you have to do this? Do you have to humble yourself to this kind of work?" But I remember my mom told me, in every bad situation, something good will just come up one day, and she didn't give up. She told me, "Pauline, you're a candle. You're going to light many people. You're going to light the world." And I didn't even understand. I was young. I loved smiling. I loved helping people. I remember at the age of 9 telling my mother, when I grow up, I want to have the biggest children's home. And she looked at me and told me why. I just answered, "Mom, I want to stay with children around to help people who are poor." But my mother told me, "But you're poor. Who will help you?" I answered, "I will not be poor forever, Mom. We are going to be better." I write so many times, and I've been writing. There's a day I wrote, "I wish I was 16, because I was this smiling girl. I was this girl who never thought of anything around me. I never thought of life was going to change any other day. As much as I was raised in a poor background, I would wake up each day and tell myself, one day I am going to be a journalist." I wanted to be a journalist from the time I was young, and I was telling myself, one day I'm going to be a journalist. I'm going to take you, Mom, out of this place. I'm going to take you to a big house. But when I was 16, I think everything changed. Almost going to 17 years, everything changed, because I had a friend, And just like my mother called me a candle, this girl got pregnant. I was in Form 2, she was in Form 1. This girl got pregnant and the mother chased her away. So my mother, talking to the mother, she told the mom, just allow her to stay at home. But her staying at home, the mother didn't provide anything. So my father, being that my father loves me very much, being that he wanted me to have everything in my life. He used to do for me a very good shopping. I would rather go with everything I want, but the family back home is hungry. So the moment my father did shopping for me, I would take some sanitary towels, I would take some towels, I would squeeze my money just to buy for the child clothes, but the pocket money that I'm given just to share with her. But actually I didn't know I was developing hatred in her heart. I didn't know that this girl was envying that I was going to school and she was at home. So on 11th October, I'll never forget that day. This girl, I was here, this is the house that I've been raised. She came to me and told me, Pauline, can you just take me to my brother's place to help me wash clothes before you go to school? I was supposed to go to school at around 12 and it was around 8. I told her, it's okay, I will just take you, but by 10 I am supposed to be back so that I go to school. When I went, the only thing I remember is, I don't know if I was pushed, and the next thing I had was I was slapped, and this man told me, wewe ndo unajifanya kichwa ngumu, we will make sure you're like our sister. And the next thing, it was just looking at these men one by one, raping me one by one, defiling me, breaking my virginity. I was very young. They threatened me. I always say that the rape, I don't call it as the most painful thing in my life, but that torture of having to stay silent, of having to protect your family. At the age of 17, you're protecting your family by keeping silent. I went to school and a lot of people didn't notice what was going on with me, because being raised with my mother is an introvert. And I try to learn from her, and I think that moment I learned that I am going to keep silent, because if I tell someone, this person will tell another person and they will go to the police and I am going to get killed. So I just kept quiet. After going to the doctor, getting all the documents, I was treated, I kept quiet. I went back to school. It was third term and it was October ended. I am stressed up. No one knows what is going through with me. I started becoming suicidal. I attempted 2 times in school, and that is when my friend started speaking out, started trying to speak to me, but I could just look at them and tell me I am very okay. There's nothing wrong with me. I am fine. My father is the only person I opened up to, and I made him swear he's never going to tell anyone. I made my dad swear he's never going to tell anyone, even my own mother. We just kept quiet with him, and my father was very hurt, and being that he's a harsh man, he could have done anything, and I didn't want it. I didn't want anyone to know, because being raised in a slum, in a society that everyone knows you, in a society that everyone is tracking your progress, ngoje tuone atafika wapi. Amefika class 8, ngoje tuone kama atamaliza form 4. So I was in form 3 and I didn't want anything that could drag me behind. I was suspended from school at around 22nd November before the school closed, because the principal didn't know what was happening with me. The principal said I could not even speak, so I don't want help. And that is how I was suspended from the school, to just go back home and decide if I want to go back to school, because even my performance was just going down every day. Attempting suicide in a school 2 times, they were like, this girl is going to bring problem. Because the first suicide I attempted was in a dormitory. I tried to hang myself in the dormitory, and luckily the dorm prefect found me. They talked to me and I promised them I am not going to do it again. The second one, I went to the school laboratory and I knew very well where chlorine is, and I knew it was maybe the strongest chemical. So I was trying to take chlorine in, and luckily my 2 friends found me, and they tried to keep it a secret, but the school knew. And that is how I was suspended from my school in Ngararia. Coming back home, this girl was still here. She was a neighbor. You can't do anything. being raised by a mother who will always tell you forgive people. You were struggling very hard to forgive her, but she's here reminding you each and every single day, what will you do? Whom will you even tell? To a point, my mother tried to understand what is wrong with Pauline, because I was not raised this kind of girl, a girl who fights with people. So my mother was wondering what is wrong with her, what is wrong with Pauline. At last, my mother just suspected maybe we were fighting over a boyfriend. And after a while, this girl went away. That is how she went. Around January, she went. She just relocated from this place and left the mother back here. So from that time, we don't talk actually. I have tried my best to forgive her. As I grow, I always say time heals everything. As I grow, the pain is going away, but knowing that she destroyed my life, she at some point dimmed my candle, it hurts. But I always say I have to forgive. And this man, this boy, the man that I knew, being the brother of this girl, I look at him to this point, and I remember one day I just told him, I will come back for you. Remember my face. I will come back for you, I promise. I will come back. Don't think I'm doing this because I don't know what I'm doing. I will come back for you. One day, you will pay for everything that you did to me. To a point, at some point, he relocated. Sometimes he comes back, sometimes he goes away. Being that as I was growing up, I learned the value of just speaking out. I learned how to tackle issues and just handling things. He is afraid. Most of the times he's afraid, and he tells people that I'm afraid of this girl. But I keep reminding him, one day I'll come back for you. Don't think I have forgiven, because I am sure I'm not the first one. I'm sure I will not be the last one. Because I didn't get justice, there's another person, again, I am very sure will never get justice. Yeah, that was just after that. I went to high school very well, and transferring from this other school, they knew something was wrong with me. So stories were coming up. She's pregnant, she was pregnant, she has aborted. So going to this new school, I went back to Form 3 again. And now I think that is when I grew strong, because the things I used to hear every day, people telling your story as if they know what is happening, they were really hurting. And I have not spoken it to anyone apart from my dad. And life was not easy for me, because at this moment, that is when I know I was going through depression. Because even after transferring, I remember there is a day I attempted suicide around Haile Selassie Road, because I was just tired. I was this girl telling myself they destroyed my life. I am not going to be the journalist that I always wanted to be, because they have killed me from inside. They destroyed my virginity. I decided I am going to enter into a relationship now. And I was just young, and you're there, you're young, you don't know, you're dating someone who just completed high school kitambo, and they just heartbreak you each and every single moment. And I was like, no, I'm going to take this life as it is, because you decided you're going to make me strong by force. I am going to be strong as you want me to be. And that is how I handled myself, trying to kill myself. Sometimes I am down, sometimes I am up. To a point, I cleared high school and around 2013, and I sat down with myself and told myself, before the results come out, I want to try whether I am a mother. Because all this while, I knew these people had destroyed my womb, or maybe they did something to me. Maybe they, you just tell yourself a lot of things to a point. You tell yourself, maybe they cursed me, I will never give birth again. And yeah, I had a boyfriend at the age of around 17. I was very young, and at 19, I remember just telling him, by there I want a baby. And 2 months down the line, I was pregnant, and I ran away from home. No one chased me, I just ran away from home. And going to this man's house, I thought this man loved me. I was beaten up. I think from the time I'm 2 months pregnant, he used to beat me. He used to smoke. He was smoking. He was a thief before I met him. But me being raised with this mother who believes in Christianity, I used to tell him, when you're with me, you're not stealing. I am now your wife. And you're just 19. You're calling yourself someone's wife. I am now your wife. You're not stealing. You're not coming here. You're not going out at night and coming here in the morning with people's phone. I don't want those curses with my children. in my children's life. So this man decided now, because nimekatazwa kuiba, I am going to smoke bang. He used to smoke bang in the house, beat me up, and it's just 300 meters from here.
As one Hebrew quote goes, trouble comes in packs, and for Pauline, the next package was in the form of domestic violence, where her then boyfriend constantly beat her up even when she was pregnant. They say there is nothing dearer than a mom. This has been true for Pauline, whose mom held her hand during her darkest moments.
Sometimes I would run away, come back to my mom's house, and my mom looks at me and I have blood all over and looks at me and just smiles and tells me, leo umeanguka kwa stairs tena? Because that is the only excuse I could tell my mother. I have fallen off from the stairs, and even the house that I'm living, there's no stairs, because I didn't want my mother to be worried. I didn't want my mother to discover this girl has a problem. And yeah, the society really judged me very wrongly, but I think I am the only one who knew what I was doing. And being in that relationship for around 1.5 years, you're beaten every day, you're harassed. When I was 6 months pregnant with my firstborn child, this man squeezed my stomach to a point I bled, and I knew that day I had miscarried my child. But going to the hospital, the doctor just told me I'm okay. But like something very funny, I didn't go back home. I just stayed there. I stayed in that house. I used to tell myself every day, this man will change. I am going to pray for him. This man is going to change. This man is going to be good. I remember arguing with my father, telling my dad, I can't raise a child single-handedly. I can't, Dad, I can't. Let me just stay here. This man is going to change. But I remember my dad one day looked at me and told me, you see the same way you stepped out of that door and ran away, that is the same way you're going to come back with that baby. At 9 months, I had saved enough for my son. I had opened a bank account for my son, and it was a secret. I call it a top secret. So I was hiding the bank statements, everything, in a place where this man could never find. But just this day, I remember coming up. It was 30th October. I came and dropped everything and went to pick my son at the daycare. By bad luck, he just came as I left and found the bank statements. I had saved around 17,000, and he actually beat me up. You're going to tell me the password, I am going to take all this money. Our son is very young, you can't save for him. And at that moment, I knew what I wanted, but I didn't have the strength to walk out from that relationship because I was so afraid of the society judging me. I was so afraid of coming out here. I knew very well they could say, tulijua tu. And that is when my eyes opened up, and I remembered every word my mother used to tell me. The day you will decide to come back from that, to come away from that relationship, because I know what is happening, you will come back here and I'm going to accept you gladly. And he chased us. It was around 1 a.m. at night, and being that our house was 300 meters away, I just walked with my son, holding him, because he took away everything. He poured water on every blanket that he knew very well I was going to use to carry my son. And I remember just taking a jacket and holding my son. I came back and I knocked my mother's house at around 1 a.m. And my mother looked at me and smiled and told me, Pauline, just welcome back home. Welcome. With all those struggles, with all those emotions, I decided I am going to work. And the only job I could have gotten at that time, I worked in a club. I remember for around 3 weeks, I worked for 16 hours every day just to provide 20,000 shillings for my sister to go to school. And I was exposed in another world. I was exposed in this world where no one cares about you. You just do what you came here to do. Sometimes they could have forced you to do things that you don't really want, but I was there. I told myself I am here for a short period to make sure my sister joins campus. And every day you're coming back and this man is after you. This man is violating you. You meet him on the road and he calls you names. He has called me names to a point. I am at a point in life, you call me anything and I will look at you and I will smile back. Because I am as young as 24 and there's nothing I've not had in these years. I always tell people, if it's gender-based violence, I know the other side. I know being on the side that you were being violated, but you can't speak out. I know the side where you're now violated, you're speaking out, but there is no one listening to you. And he harassed me for around 1 year, to a point I don't know. Sometimes I say maybe I was stupid, maybe I was not empowered enough, because there's a day I just told myself I'm going to revenge on this man, and since I know this man wants me back, I am going to get married to another person. And that is how I got myself with a second born child. The other side, I have not even settled everything. I am here again pregnant with another child, and this man again is turning out to be very violent, and I'm like, God, I came back and asked my mom, am I even cursed? Am I not going to get married in my life? Because every man I meet, he's violent, and that is not what I wanted. Since that I was not raised in a violent house, I knew violence was not for me. And in the midst of all these mistakes that I did, I always had one thing in my mind: I want to be a great woman. I want to be changed. And at least at that moment, that is when I met a mentor called Editor. She introduced me to modeling. She introduced me to this other world of being an advocate, of speaking out for the rights of other people. And I knew that is the path I want to take. In 2018, I handled more than 12 rape cases, children getting raped, and it drained me emotionally. It drained me physically, because I didn't know I was dying inside. I didn't know depression was coming back. Going down on my knees every day and telling God to give me grace, that is what has made me survive to this moment. That is what has made me turn my scars to story, because I tell people I don't have connections to the greatest people in this world, but I have a story to tell. I will look at a young girl messing her life and I will just tell her my story. I will not give you money, I will tell you my story. And that is what motivated me to start a foundation for children. That is what motivated me to start. It's called Eagles Modeling Foundation. Being a girl who has always found a way from every struggle, I called myself an eagle when I was 17, because I knew I am going to overcome every storm. And my society, girls are just after high school, maybe they get pregnant. Boys after high school, maybe they go to gangs. So each and every single day you will wake up, girls are getting killed, boys are getting killed, and I didn't want that. So I decided I am going to start a foundation with nothing. I am just going to share with these children my story. I am just going to empower them with that one skill that my mentor taught me, how to model. I teach them modeling. I teach them the art of speaking out, because I believe in speaking out. I speak out most of the times through writings and maybe mentorship, maybe catwalking. I tell people modeling to me is a silent art. It only takes someone who understands you to understand that every step you make on the runway, you're throwing off some things. You're throwing off some burdens that are holding you. You're throwing off some hatred that you just want to revenge back, but you can't. You're throwing off some challenges that are weighing you down, and you just cover it with a smile and just walk. I call my path a runway. I will walk it with pride. I will make it through everything. I have never lost hope. I know I am going to accomplish every dream. I keep telling my mother I am going to be a journalist. I tell my mother, just watch out. I am going to be the best TV host and a radio host in this country. As much as I have never gotten that chance to go back to school. I have never gotten that chance maybe to practice what I love most. But the joy in my heart is that people around me, their lives is okay. I am happy that at least now my sister is in third year learning French and English and Kiswahili. I know she's a hope in our house. I am happy right now. I have taken our last born sister through high school. Now that we want to just for her to go to college, I am happy all these people around me, their lives is okay. I am happy that my mom right now, she's a strong woman she doesn't lose hope. One thing about my mother, whenever I am happy, she's happy. When I go down, she's down. That is why I would pretend I am very happy. I would pretend whenever I'm around her mom, I am very okay, knowing that deep within, I am not okay. But I have to be strong for them.
Mimi naitwa Rosemary Opezi Michute. Mimi ni mama ya Pauline na muhimisha aendelee hivyo, na kwa wengine wenye wanajaribu kusaidia society, na wahimiza waombe Mungu na kufanya bidii. Kila kitu bila Mungu akiendelea, lakini ukiwa ndani ya Mungu kila kitu kitakuwa rahisi. Hivyo tu maombi yangu kwa vijana wadogo wenye wanaendelea, wanataka kusaidia hii society. Bila Mungu hamwezi. Lazima muombe Mungu kwanza, ndio kila kitu kitakuwa hivyo. Hata mimi nimemlea na Mungu, na mahali amefika anajua Mungu tu. Hakuna kutangatanga huku na huku kutafuta vitu vya haraka. Ni kitu mpaka uanzie chini. Kitu yenye kimeanzia chini kinafaulu kuliko vitu vyenye unapata kwa urahisi vinaisha haraka. Afadhali uanze kitu upate kidogo kidogo. Hata Mungu mwenyewe anaanza na chini, anabariki kutoka chini akielekea juu. Vitu vyenye watu wanapata haraka huwa vinaisha haraka na tena ndio inaleta mauti.
There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story. According to the Kenya Police, rape is the most underreported crime in Kenya. It is estimated that only 1 out of 20 rape victims report. And for this reason, Pauline decided to empower young girls who have undergone a similar ordeal by giving them a voice and shielding them from stigma.
Each and every single day, there are a lot of challenges, being that I'm around a society that it's hard for them to accept change. And Eagles Modeling Foundation exposed me to a lot of threats, a lot of challenges, being that I am empowering children to a better future, empowering these children to understand themselves. And we are in a society, we've normalized evil, we've normalized rape, we've normalized child marriage, we've normalized teenage pregnancy. But what motivates me is every Saturday, whenever I meet this child and whenever I'm training them, they tell me when I grow up I want to be a nurse. That is really what motivates me. That is what really gives me hope, and that is what keeps me moving. Whenever I wake up and I just find myself so stressed up, I would take my phone and look at the videos, and I tell myself I have another reason to live. And the fact that I know this is not a permanent situation for me, I have to get out of this situation. I have to be that woman that I was born to be. I have to achieve the dreams that I want. That is what really motivates me, and that is what keeps me going. And I would tell someone who's out there and maybe they are losing hope that it's not worth it. Always I at this point I can tell myself depression is not worth it, because depression is something that we want it's a very, I call it a comfort voice. It will speak to you very smoothly, but just getting out of you, it's very hard. And just waking up every day, appreciate the little opportunities, appreciate the little achievement you've made. Even just waking up and smiling is an achievement to me. Feeding my children is an achievement to me. Maybe learning a skill is an achievement to me. If we focus on the little achievements that we make, we attract many more big achievements. What keeps me going is just that I'm always a hopeful girl, and prayers is what keeps me most, because I believe in God, I believe in His power, I believe in His grace, and just believing that He says that I am more than a conqueror, and He loves me, and He has good plans for me. That is what keeps me going. Yeah, and that is the story of my life.